Hey, how's it going? Hey, come join me on this walk. I'm walking down to Red Ridge, coming from Goldshire. I've been thinking a lot about Classic Plus lately, so naturally, I've been thinking of Season of Discovery. I'm just kind of trying to get my thoughts out. What I think worked, what didn't work. I think Season of Discovery was a good idea. It's a playground, test new ideas, see what people like, see what people don't like. A lot of things didn't stick, and there were some good things that did stick. So we can learn from that. So, one thing I didn't think was too good of an idea. We had the level banded phases. There's nothing wrong with phases. Everyone loves phases. But having a checkpoint at your level, knowing that, you eventually have to get to 60 later, is adding a drop-off point for players. You get to 25, you rush there, you do all the content. Okay, there's nothing to do. You lose interest, you fall off. Alright, next phase. You get to level 40. Rush, rush, rush. So that's what we like to do. We like to boost to end game. And then players fell off because they ran out of things to do. Phase 3, longest phase. Tons of players fell off. And I think that's eventually what kind of killed the game. So you have all these people leaving, kind of killing the hype, at every phase. You do the content, you fall off. Level banded phases, I think we can get rid of that for Classic Plus. Now, what I do think was a good idea, reworking old content. Black Fathom Depths, Nomergon, Sunken Temple. These are typically dungeons that not a lot of people like to run. And I think rounding off, improving those areas of the game is almost just as important as adding new content. Because at the end of the day, you want everything in the world to be meaningful. You want to have no content go to waste. You want a reason to go everywhere. And it sucks when you have pieces of the game that you just don't want to play. And typically, Sunken Temple, Nomergon, Black Fathom Depths, those were all things that people didn't typically want to run. So I think that was a good idea. A good, ethos going into Classic Plus. How can we look at the world and make things that people don't typically like more enjoyable? What can we add and what can we take away? So that's a concept. I think we can keep it. Runes. I don't think the runes landed kind of how they expected. Giving classes new spells was a good idea in concept. Giving them that much, maybe not so much. What we really wanted, we wanted Paladins to have Crusader Strike. Give them a taunt. Round off the Retribution tree, round off the Prot tree, make them more viable. You want to round off the content. You don't just want to throw everything in there. Now I get it. It was a seasonal server. It was a testing ground. And that's exactly what ended up happening. Came to an end, and everyone finished. And I think there's a lot of things that they did right, and a lot of things that they did wrong. They added new dungeons. Perfect. That's what we wanted. They added a new raid. Again, that's what we wanted. Unfortunately, they added those at a time where a lot of players had fallen off. So retaining those players or bringing them back was very hard. New dungeons, new raids, put that in the bucket of things we can keep. Runes, throw it out, round off the classes. That's what we want. Season of Discovery made a lot of good ideas. It also made a lot of bad ideas. I like to remember the good ideas and learn from the bad ones, like Nightmare Incursions. Nightmare Incursions were probably one of the worst ideas that were added to the game. It completely went against the idea of what Classic is all about. You take this beautiful, vast, interesting world, you concentrate the player base down to one small area. You make this repeatable quest chain, or chain of quests. You give them all the money, you give them all the gear, and it breaks the game. Breaks the ethos of the game. And nobody wants that. Nightmare Incursions, we can throw out. If anything, if you really wanted to keep them Blizzard, you can modify them. Maybe make them a once a week thing, where you get 10 quests, you go in there and you do it. Kind of like an open world dungeon almost, where you do quests instead of kill bosses. I think that's not a bad idea, or a compromise. Then you can keep the work that you've done, and you're not really throwing too much out. Because that's the thing. I think there's a lot of good ideas in Season of Discovery, and things that we can keep. We did get a lot of the things we wanted. It was just kind of ruined by a lot of the things that we don't want. It ended up becoming retail minus instead of a Classic Plus. And I think it was a learning lesson for Blizzard. And it helps when we go through these videos and we talk about these things. You never know who's watching. I want to get the community talking. I want people to comment and tell me what you liked about Season of Discovery. Tell me what you didn't like about Season of Discovery. Every little bit matters. So, I think if I had to put my thoughts together, I'd say Season of Discovery was a good idea with some poor execution along the way. We learned some things, and hopefully Blizzard can go and take what they've learned, and by the sounds of it, they know Nightmare Incursions were a bad idea. They know the content, the dungeons, the raids were good. So if we take that, put it in Classic Plus, it does give me hope. I haven't completely written off Blizzard yet. I don't know if I'm huffing hopium or copium or whatever you want to call it, but I think we've seen enough from them, from the beginning of SOD to the end of SOD, that there's hope. There's a chance. Because you never know. The team was small at the beginning, and it grew quite a bit bigger till the end. And the Classic team now is not the Classic team that they started with. So I think if Blizzard can implement the changes that I've talked about in this video, take some ideas from the community, take some ideas from private servers, round these all together, add a player voting system, I think we have a really good shot at having a product that a lot of people like. It's never going to make everybody happy. Nothing ever does. But I think we definitely have a chance at a product in a world that we're all going to have a good time in. And at the end of the day, if all else fails, I'll still be walking around Elwynn Forest in Classic. I'll still be having a good time with the Classic WoW. So, thanks for coming with me on this walk today. Hope it's been nice. Elwynn Forest has been nice. And comment below what you think would be good in in Classic Plus, what you liked about SOD, what you didn't like about SOD, and kind of where your thoughts are at. It's always good to review past content, things that didn't work and things that did work. So, again, thanks for joining me. Appreciate you coming on this walk with me, and I'll see you in the next one.